school committee talks major benefits for our schools, a new green energy project, donations, and more.
Plus, the Board of Assessors plan to educate the elected town council. The details coming up.
And later, summer activities. We take a look at the recreation department to see what residents can dive into.
Also, St. Michael's Youth Players' spring show Cinderella has wrapped up. Find out what popular musical they're planning on next.
Those stories and much more ahead on ELCAT News Update. Good evening, I'm Rebecca Green.
And I'm Jake Brady.
We begin tonight with the latest school committee meeting. As the school year comes to an end, the high school administrative team gives an update on the Good Students in Standing program. Students who go to school on time and are respectful are considered students in good standing. Students who consistently violate the school's tardy and discipline policies may lose their students in good standing status, which will deem them ineligible to participate in any extracurricular activities.
One of the things we really set out to do was to decrease the number of tardies that our students had each morning, and we're definitely happy to say that that number has been reduced by 56%. Our students are getting to school on time more consistently. The tardy line is much shorter. Everybody's in class and ready to go. I know there was some questions about attendance last year. We're still going strong at a 95% daily attendance rate. The administrative detentions, we had expected those to rise with running the detention program for 4 days a week rather than one. So the number of detentions definitely has gone up, but the number of infractions are actually down by 23%.
This is spectacular. I have to say, it was 23 years. I tried everything I could to change the culture of being late. Yeah. And my God, you three should be fantastic.
A visit from DPW Superintendent Robert Parent talks more improvements involving school fixtures and water supply. The state has issued a grant program for communities to apply for to receive a detailed lead and copper test for schools.
Lead and copper doesn't originate in the water supply. The issue, if you have an issue, is not the water supply. It's typically in older cities and some of the old lead service lines. We are not an old city. We don't have any lead service lines. So if we had any issues, it would typically be in the fixtures themselves. So the outcome of this testing might identify some fixtures that need to be replaced to eliminate any potential risks or concerns about lead or copper.
Another improvement for East Longmeadow schools is presented by Matt Payne and John Alba from the Northeast Efficiency Supply regarding a green energy project.
We'll be looking at Mountain View and Meadowbrook. Based on the previous work that has been done, those two locations currently have the oldest lighting technology in your system. And the majority of the work would be focused on your linear fluorescent, such as we're sitting under right now, with some site lighting as well. So Matt and I actually snuck in a little bit earlier, since this is the majority of it, and the two fixtures right here we swapped out. So those two have been swapped to LED prior to the meeting this evening to give you a kind of a look and feel of what the difference would be. If you look at the fixtures closest to the back wall, or the front wall, however you look at it, those have two 28-watt fluorescent lamps in them that were done in the last retrofit of this building. The two closest have two 12-watt LED lamps in it. So we've effectively cut the wattage by over 50% in those fixtures. Both of these locations would produce a positive cash flow if we were to utilize the on-bill repayment method that had been utilized in the past. That may or may not be something that the town and the school committee would wish to do. But we do have in your handouts the cash flow analysis. Both of them are paying off in a little bit under 5 years and would be eligible for warranties of up to 10 years. So not only would it be a cash flow positive project, but it would also be greatly impacting the maintenance of the buildings as well.
Adding on to the good news for our schools, a number of donations were received this week.
We have box tops for education, where, I remember doing this years ago for my own kids, so this has been around a long time. And Birchland Park, there is $675.60 that they would like to have you approve for the gift account. And each, just to remind everyone, the little box tops, each one is only 10 cents, so that's a lot of box tops. This one's called Take Charge of Education Program. So what this is every time parents go in, that they sign up and they have a red card, 1% of their purchases actually go to the school of their choice. So I would like to bring forward for the high school, $200 from Target program. The next one is, again, the Target Take Charge of Education program for Meadowbrook, and this is $100.
We all heard about Rob Gronkowski making an appearance at our high school football field recently from shooting a commercial. On top of paying a low rental cost for the field, Vertec Corporation and Mass Mutual also donated $250 to the school.
In more town government news, the election for town council is right around the corner. Once elected, the town council will receive a presentation from the Board of Assessors about the town's budget and tax rate.
We have an educational meeting for the new town council.
Yes,
Diane and I will be there.
once they get elected, they've already have a meeting scheduled just to educate.
It's a great idea.
Yes, I did touch base with Russ Denver, who is our current moderator right now, and he is pulling this together for the prospective council people. It is going to be a 2-hour session. I did check with him, and they're requiring about 20 minutes from us, and he wants us to focus basically on the tax rate setting.
As Eric Madison keeps saying, we're trying not to get too close to that $25 per thousand or slow down our
Right.
And to let them know that
Our
we
walk
do not
towards it.
set the tax rate, so.
Yeah. And I also think it would be helpful if they are just semi-aware of the tax classification hearing process, because that's going to come
Absolutely.
upon them quicker
Yeah,
than anything,
yeah,
because the budget's already been pulled together for fiscal 17 and was voted
Right.
in at the town meeting. So they're going to be able to slowly get an understanding of that budget process,
Right.
but the tax classification is going to...
might approach it from the fact that basically the state tells us how much we can raise.
Right.
Go through some of the LA5, LA4, forms.
And
Yeah.
plus at the meet and greet, one of their questions was the single tax rate and the split rate,
Yeah,
which
I did have a
I
couple...
had questions
yeah.
asked, I know Bill did at the meet and greet too, so.
Yeah, I had someone call me at the house, one of the candidates, and I explained to them why, the thinking in the past few years has been the single tax rate because of the difference in the percentage of valuation SIP to R&O, and we don't have any O, so it's residential
Right.
to commercial industrial.
And I had a couple who did contact me, and I provided them with the presentation that we gave to the Board of Selectmen last year.
Good.
Which made me happy to know that people were doing their homework before they were...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're
Yes,
happy.
glad that they're that interested.
Yeah.
A reminder for residents, the town council election will be held on Tuesday, June 7th at Birchland Park Middle School from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Moving on to another town meeting, the Board of Selectmen met on May 25th, where the first order of business was a Purple Heart community presentation from American Legion representatives.
I want to thank the council, or the board rather, for having us back here again. We were here last year, and I want to thank you for originally becoming a Purple Heart community. We were just trying to figure that out. It was at least last year. It may have been even further back. We came in for a presentation at that time. And a follow-up to that is the Purple Heart sign, which designates the town, as so people in the town know as they approach the town, drive through the town, that this is a town that stands with its veterans, that stands with its Purple Heart recipients in all ways. And we really appreciate you taking that step. And the Military Order of Purple Heart, as you guys know, is it comprised entirely of combat wounded veterans. Each sign is sponsored by 3 different organizations. The Military Order of Purple Heart, Western Mass Chapter 875 has sponsored a sign tonight. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, District 7, has sponsored a sign tonight. And American Legion Post 293, your very own, best in the business, best American Legion Post around, has sponsored another sign.
I want to be Captain Obvious and thank you all for your service to our country.
You bet.
We wouldn't be here in this place, in this condition, without all of you dedicating yourselves to our community
Thank you very
and
much.
to our country.
Next on the agenda, Health Agent Amy Petrowski presents 3 items to the board.
So the public health nurse position is a position that for us is mostly MAVEN reporting. So the state is requiring us to be in contact with them if there's a reportable disease in our community. What Lee would be doing for us is monitoring that MAVEN site. If there are disease that comes in that she's responsible to respond to, she would take the necessary actions, which oftentimes means reaching out to the person who's affected and doing some kind of information gathering and trace back if necessary. Lee responded to an ad that we put out through Western Mass Public Health Association, and she came with glowing recommendations from both Lori McCool and Nick Breaux.
So I've been working in Wilbraham for just over 5 years now. Last year I saw 1,000 of our citizens in one form or another. Considering that I only work 10 hours a week, that's a pretty fair number of people that I did see. In addition to serving as the senior center nurse and making referrals and running blood pressure clinics at the center and in the community for those people who are homebound and are unable to come to the community, I do monitor MAVEN, which is Massachusetts Virtual Epidemiological Network. So MAVEN has taken us from paper to the laboratory, to the epidemiologist, to the public health nurse, to the board, to the selectmen, to the towns, so that we can respond faster, not only to emerging infectious disease, but trying to predict what might be coming, like the mosquito-borne illnesses right now, chikungunya, and we have Zika, which is not an old, but a 1947 virus, and then our tick-borne disease, which in Western Mass is growing exponentially. So we have babiosis and anaplasmosis and, of course, Lyme. These diseases, infectious diseases, are constantly changing and emerging and reinventing themselves, and they show up in our state laboratory at the Hendon Laboratory, and when that happens, positive blood work, positive swabs, it's sent out to the public health nurse for case follow-up.
Great, so obviously the purpose you're here for tonight is to have us approve Lee as the proposed, as the health nurse, not the proposed health nurse.
Yes.
So, is there any questions from the board?
No.
In that case, I would like to propose a motion to make Lee Giglietti,
Yes.
the vowel at the end of my name work, as our new as our health nurse for the town of East Long Meadow. Okay, the next item on the agenda is.
We'll go with the proposed
Yes.
tobacco regulation.
Yep.
So this tobacco regulation is a very basic regulation that the majority of other cities and towns have passed. It was created in response to complaints that we've been getting from community members, both of exposure to secondhand smoke as well as the new emerging trend, which is e-cigarettes. There is no regulation right now preventing the use of e-cigarettes wherever cigarettes are in use. So this regulation addresses both of those concerns. This was really simple to put together. The only thing that we changed was the smoking distance from 25, which is what the state recommends, to 50. And that was based on, Billy, with the majority of the complaints we were getting from a lot of residents at the housing authority, because it's just such a small area. So this would prevent the use of cigarette smokes on any of our public parks or athletic facilities, as well as the border around public entryways and inside businesses.
All right. I'd like to propose a motion to accept the new smoking regulations for workplace and public places as presented.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So the last item is a proposed fats, oils, and grease regulation. This was requested by our DPW. So already restaurants are required to have grease traps.
Right.
The reason that they requested this is there is a lot of grease trap maintenance issues that are happening, and it's costing the town a lot of money. So they're having to go out and clear out the sewerage because people aren't cleaning, the grease is getting to the line and causing a backup.
So this isn't changing any of the regulations that the restaurants are under now, it's just adding an enforcement tool if they don't comply with what they're supposed to be doing.
Right, and it's going to add a permit process. So if a new restaurant's going in, I know it's going in, and we can work with the plumbing and DPW to say, you also need, it's adding places where grease trap is necessary. In terms of putting this into place, each time I do an inspection, what I'll do is I'll give them a copy of this regulation and let them know what the expectations will be moving forward. Then on my second cycle, so in 6 months, that's going to be one of the things that I'm looking for. So they'll have a full 6 months to start implementing the changes, and then new restaurants will be required to do it when they come into town.
Jumping into summer events, the Recreation Department summer programs are about to begin. From sports to camps and more, they have it all. There is also the opportunity to purchase a Pine Knoll Pool membership. The Recreation Department offers both family and individual memberships. Those 16 years or younger must be supervised by an adult when entering the pool area. Pine Knoll Pool is open late June to September. Before the pool opens, be sure to check out the Summer Kickoff Tennis Jamboree for adults and juniors. There will be match play, contests, prizes, and more. The event takes place on Saturday, June 11th at 1 p.m. at the East Longmeadow High School tennis courts.
If you're looking for something other than sports, it's time to take advantage of St. Michael's Youth Players audition for the next upcoming musical, Beauty and the Beast. Ages 7 and older are welcome to audition. Be prepared to act, sing, and dance. A character list is posted on the St. Michael's Players website, along with details about the audition. If you are more interested in working behind the scenes, volunteers are always welcomed for crew work such as painting the set, makeup, costume design, and more. Auditions will be held on June 6th and June 8th at the St. Michael's Community Center on Summers Road.
It's that time of year for the Pleasant View Senior Center Farmers Market to open. Every Friday, the Senior Center will hold a farmers market in the parking lot from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Starting on June 10th, you will have plenty of time to experience the fun atmosphere and purchase delicious local food. The farmers market will go throughout the summer and end early October. If you are interested in becoming a vendor, be sure to call the Senior Center at 413-525-5436.
Fridays are becoming a fun day in town. For this week's Library Learning segment, we talk Friday Flicks. First up, the library will be showing The Choice. The popular film, written by the best-selling author Nicholas Sparks, is about two neighbors who wind up in a relationship that is tested by life's most defining events. The showing takes place on Friday, June 10th at 1 p.m. in the library community room. The next film is based on a true story. The movie The Finest Hours is a thrilling drama about the Coast Guard making a daring rescue after a pair of oil tankers are destroyed during a blizzard. The showing takes place on Friday, June 24th at 1 p.m. in the library community room.
Well, that will do it for us tonight on this edition of ELCAT News Update. Be sure to watch meetings on demand at our ELCAT YouTube channel, ELCAT 01028. Follow us on Facebook and watch us on cable channel 191 and 193.
For cable channel times, make sure to check out our ELCAT program guide, available at the Town Hall, Library, and Senior Center. Also check your mail as the programs will be delivered monthly within the reminder.
Thanks for watching. I'm Jake Brady.
And I'm Rebecca Green. Until next time, good night.